And now let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Modi holds talks with Thai counterpart Shinawatra ahead of BIMSTEC. Trump announces 26% tariffs on import from India, calls Prime Minister Modi a great friend but criticizes India's 52% tariffs on US goods. Lok Sabha passes Waqf Amendment Bill with 288 votes. The bill is being discussed in Rajya Sabha. Stalin calls it a draconian law. DMK to move SC against it. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah meets Rahul Gandhi, discusses party and government affairs. Big blow for Mamata government. Supreme Court upholds Calcutta High Court decision to cancel 25,000 school recruitments. Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna says all 33 Supreme Court judges will declare their assets to ensure transparency. Lok Sabha adopts statutory resolution confirming imposition of President's rule in Manipur. Rajya Sabha to debate issue tonight. Bengaluru rains cause traffic chaos, heavy pre-summer shower flood key roads. Virgin Atlantic flight from London to Mumbai makes emergency landing in Turkey. More than 200 Indian passengers stranded for over 16 hours. Midnight debate in Lok Sabha on Wednesday came as a surprise. Union Home Minister Amit Shah moved a resolution in the Lok Sabha on proclamation of President's rule in Manipur around 2 a.m. on Thursday. The House passed the resolution by voice vote after 40 minutes of discussion. Home Minister Amit Shah said there had been no violence in the state in the last 4 months. Amit Shah said that the latest incident in Manipur was not terrorism or riot. It was caste violence triggered by a court decision and interpretation by the two communities.
मान्यवर, हम सब जानते हैं कि हाईकोर्ट के एक फैसले के कारण मणिपुर में दो समुदायों के बीच में आरक्षण संबंधी विवाद के कारण एक जातीय हिंसा का उद्भव हुआ। मान्यवर, ये राइट्स नहीं है ना टेररिज्म है। ये हाईकोर्ट के एक फैसले के इंटरप्रिटेशन के कारण दो समुदायों के बीच में जातीय हिंसा हुई। सभी सदस्यों ने इस पर काफी चिंता व्यक्त की है मान्यवर, और उन्होंने कहा कि भाई तुरंत शांति हो, पुनर्वास के लिए तुरंत प्रयास किए जाएं, केसों की न्यायिक जांच हो और जो पीड़ित है उनकी पीड़ा कम करना और उनका जो नुकसान हुआ है इसकी भरपाई होनी चाहिए। मान्यवर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी और मार्च 4 महीने से वहां पर हिंसा नहीं है, और जहां तक कैंपों का सवाल है, पहले से ही इसके अंदर खाने पीने की व्यवस्थाएं, दवाइयां, मेडिकल सुविधाएं, ये सब सुनिश्चित कर लिया गया है। टेक्निकल एजुकेशन, मेडिकल एजुकेशन की वहां पर ऑनलाइन व्यवस्था हो चुकी है। प्राइमरी एजुकेशन के लिए कैंपों के लिए अंदर ही वहां पर वर्ग लगाए गए हैं, जहां इनकी पढ़ने की सुविधा करने का प्रयास किया गया। मैं नहीं कहता कि ये सुविधा अपने घर में रहकर बच्चा पढ़ता है इतनी अच्छी है, मगर हम सब जानते हैं मान्यवर, जब जातीय हिंसा होती है तब ये सारे प्रश्न खड़े होते हैं।
Now let me ask a basic question here before I introduce my guests. Can Manipur violence be attributed to the interpretation of the decision of High Court? On this issue, I am joined by Kartikeya Mathuba, convener Kokhumi. I am also joined by Dr. Tombing, Assistant Professor, National Law University and Judicial Academy, Professor Prasanjit Biswas, Professor Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University, and Group Captain Nand Kumar Sharma. And today, 6 very important bites. 2 bites of Amit Shah, 1 bite of Shashi Tharoor, 1 bite of Kanimoy of DMK, and I have taken 1 principal reaction of TMC MP. So let me go to Kartikeya Mathuba on this. Can this violence be ascribed to the interpretation of the High Court order, sir?
No, that's completely wrong. It is just a, it is just a excuse which was being propagated by the instigator of violence that belongs to the Chin Kuki armed group communities. Because the issue of scheduled tribes demand by the certain group of Meitei has always been, opposed and protested by Nagas as well. But the violence that had happened were only being left out between the Kukis and the Meiteis. So Naga has never come out on, completely against that High Court order. And we also know that the former judge of the Manipur High Court, Mr. Siddharth Mridul, has rightly pointed out again and again in several media platforms that the order of the High Court was not to grant scheduled tribe. It has nothing to do with the granting of scheduled tribes, and there isn't enough reason to justify the ongoing conflict, simply blaming to the High Court orders. So if we looked to the entire comments or opinions presented by the Union Home Minister in the Parliament itself, I think he had given the statement in regard to Manipur in the previous Parliament session as well, and he keeps changing statements. That is the issue. At the initial part of the violence, when it was at its peak, he has mentioned about the external factors. He was talking about illegal immigrations. Later on, recently, he started fixing the entire issue to Meitei Kuki ethnic conflicts. But even today, we had a deliberated, extensive discourse on Manipur crisis in Manipur University. And many of the panelists has pointed out that this crisis is multi-dimensional.
Correct.
And it cannot be fixed into one simple reason, which is completely, which cannot be considered as the whole of the violence has been triggered by simply the High Court order.
Okay.
And that is completely misleading.
Okay. Professor Biswas, do you think that this cannot be attributed to the interpretation of the High Court's decision, as Kartikeya Mathuba is saying?
I won't be agreeing to him in other statements, but of course, High Court verdict is one of the reasons for the beginning of the violence, if we chronologically look at it. And this High Court judgment on ST was later revoked by the Supreme Court. So this was seen as one of the potent reasons for the violence. And then we know the looting of the armory, even the arms that are looted are hardly surrendered. The sophisticated weaponry that has been looted from Manipur police armory has not yet been surrendered. And in the president's rule also, we haven't seen much of an improvement in terms of bridging up between the communities. The ethnic cleansing process is still on sometimes. and sporadic violence is still happening. So therefore, there is nothing to be very assured. President's rule has created a semblance of peace, but that semblance of peace is not deep-rooted enough. It has not succeeded in bringing together the communities and rebuild the trust between them. Therefore, blaming from one side to the other side is a dangerous game that we
Okay.
should not be resorting to at this moment.
Okay. Now, Congress MP Jam questioned the timing of the debate. Let me read his tweet out. He said, following the Anglo-Manipur War of 1891, the British Parliament deliberated on the fate of Manipur, whether to annex it into the British India or not. Thousands of miles away, the defeated people were oblivious of these deliberations. It's past midnight, 2 a.m. A deliberation starts in the Parliament on the taking over of the administration of the state by the Union government. People in the forsaken state are in deep sleep tonight. Bimal Akoijam, MP from Manipur. So the big question is, should Manipur debate be held in daytime? Why was this midnight debate held? Let me straight away go to Dr. Tombing. This debate could have...
Why would...
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
It would be very hard for me to respond because I think the Waqf board related debate were on, and after that the Home Minister decided it was opportune time that Manipur concern should be raised. But then I think maybe this is a step forward, and some of the claims that Amit Shah, or maybe the promise or the commitment that Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah has made in the Lok Sabha pertains to a probable talk between the BJP MLAs from the Meitei side and then the Kuki side. And in fact, this should be a major development in the context that finally there is a house where the communities from both the MLAs, representatives from both the communities may actually sit together. And like Dr. Shashi Tharoor has said, it is a good step that PR has been in place, but then it should be for not just of law and order, but then for other concern of really bringing about peace as well. So that really makes a certain big statement with regard to what was he trying to intend when he said will not be satisfied merely just because a PR is in place, something like that. Yes.
Now the larger issue is that there were contrarian voices. Before I go to contrarian voices, since you mentioned Shashi Tharoor, Amit Shah also made one more point. He said that an attempt is being made to create a picture that violence in Manipur has been taking place only during BJP's rule. And let me tell you, I'm playing out these bites because this discussion has taken place after 12 p.m. And I don't know, because after the Waqf rape, how much bandwidth people would have had to go back and actually look into the debate of Parliament on Manipur. And even today, if this matter is debated in Rajya Sabha, again, it's going to be late in the evening or late night. So let me play out another bite of Home Minister Amit Shah.
मैं इस तरह का जवाब भी देना नहीं चाहता सदन में कि आपके समय में इतनी हिंसा हुई थी, हमारे समय में इतनी हुई, आपके समय से हमारे समय में कम हुई है। हिंसा होनी ही नहीं चाहिए। इसमें इन प्रिंसिपल किसी की इस सदन में असहमति नहीं है, परंतु पिक्चर इसी तरह से खड़ा करने का प्रयास किया कि भाई भाजपा के शासन में ही जातीय हिंसा हुई है। मान्यवर, मैं दो तीन चीजों पर ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहता हूं। पहले मैं सिर्फ मणिपुर की ही बात करूंगा। मणिपुर में 1993 में जातीय हिंसा हुई, नागा कुकी संघर्ष हुआ। 93 से 98 तक 5 साल तक चला, 750 मौतें हुई। और मान्यवर, इसके अंदर छूट-फूट घटनाएं 1 दशक तक चलती रही। मैं ये नहीं कहता कि 1 दशक तक चली थी, हमारा कम हुआ है। हम तो ऐसा मानते हैं हमारे समय में जरा भी नहीं होना चाहिए था, मगर एक दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण फैसला आया और इसके कारण हिंसा बढ़ी। इसको तत्काल कंट्रोल कर दिया गया। जो 260 मौतें हुई है मान्यवर, इसमें से 80% पहले एक महीने के अंदर ही हुई, 80%। बाकी सारी मौतें बाकी महीनों में होती गई। मान्यवर कुकी पाइते संघर्ष हुआ 97-98 में, 50 से ज्यादा गांव नष्ट कर गए, 40,000 लोग विस्थापित हुए, 352 लोग मारे गए, सैकड़ों घायल हो गए, 5,000 घर जलाए गए। मतई पंगल संघर्ष हुआ 1993 में, उस वक्त 100 से ज्यादा मृत्यु हुई थी और 6 माह तक हिंसा चली। अब मैं चित्र इस तरह से खड़ा कर दिया गया कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी विफल हो गई। मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूं, ये हिंसा, बड़ी बड़ी हिंसा, 10 साल, 3 साल और 6 माह और सैकड़ों मृत्यु, इससे भी ज्यादा, वो इंडी अलायंस के शासन में तीनों वक्त आपके ही प्रधानमंत्री थे और उसके बाद भी नहीं गए, कोई गृह मंत्री भी नहीं गया। जो मुद्दे उठाते हैं उनको मेरा सिर्फ छोटा सा वास्तविकता में बताना चाहता हूं। ये तो जातीय हिंसा थी। हमारी सरकार आई 2017 में, उसके पहले 5 साल में एवरेज 1 साल के अंदर 212 दिन मणिपुर बंद रहा है। मान्यवर, कोई जातीय हिंसा नहीं थी। लगभग 1000 से ज्यादा एनकाउंटर हो गए। सुप्रीम कोर्ट को संज्ञान लेना पड़ा था। मान्यवर, हमारे 6 साल में एक भी दिन बंद नहीं रहा, ब्लॉकेड नहीं हुआ, हिंसा नहीं हुई। जब एक विशिष्ट परिस्थिति हुई कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के एक जजमेंट का इंटरप्रिटेशन दोनों समुदायों ने अपने अपने खिलाफ किया, अरे हाईकोर्ट के, और 2 ही दिन में हिंसा भड़क गई।
Okay, so is this correct? Is opposition trying to create a one-sided picture of Manipur violence? I'm joined by P.K. Mishra, former ADG BSF, and Group Captain Nandakumar Sharma. Mr. Sharma, do you agree with Amit Shah that opposition is trying to create a one-sided picture of the violence in Manipur? And then I'll come to you, Mr. Mishra, and then to Khoreja Mathuba.
I do not agree with Mr. Amit Shah saying that it is ethnic clashes between the two communities, and also he said it is due to the judgment by the High Court. It is not. He, by saying that it is because of the High Court judgment, he is letting down the people of whole Manipur, including all the communities, like the Kuki, Maitais, Nagas, Pangal, everybody. He is terming the people of Manipur are not knowing, they are illiterate. Indirectly, he is saying we do not know what is written in the crisis. And also, he should know that the High Court order came in 27 March 2023. And if his statements are correct, that the crisis would happen nearby 1 or 2 days after the court order, but it did not. It started in 3rd May in Lajbol, as everybody knows. And also, he said it's a problem of reservation. You know, in 90s, you know better than me. In 90s, Mandal reservation crisis happened, and it started in August 1990 all over India, and in November 1990 it was completed. The crisis in all of India could be controlled in 3-4 months, and the crisis in Manipur, which is a very small place compared to the geography of the whole India during the Mandal crisis, it is very small and very insignificant. It could be controlled, and he is saying that peace is prevailed after the president's rule. It is absolutely incorrect. And 8th of March, we all know what had happened. National highways is still closed. So
okay.
He cannot claim that the peace is prevailing. And also recently, on 17 March, one boy from Kaisamtong, Mukesh, he is still missing and not known, despite the PR is imposed. So whatever claims he is showing that there is no concern by the government of India towards the people of the Manipur, including all the communities. This is what I have to say, Kartikeya.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, do you agree with this bite? There was a debate which took place in Parliament after 12 p.m. on Manipur. It will be discussed in Rajya Sabha also. It's the imposition of the president rule. There were a lot of heated arguments were made, but the two principal points were, one, that because of the wrong interpretation of the High Court verdict, the violence started, and he said that the opposition is trying to create a one-sided picture as if violence has only taken Manipur during BJP's tenure. Mr. Mishra.
Yes, Mr. I have completely gone through Mr. Amit Shah's statement in the parliament, and more or less it is a fact that violence caused definitely because of the High Court's judgment, and otherwise, and it got inflated, and it went beyond control, and law and order situation was out of control immediately. And what Mr. Amit Shah has stated that in fact it happened before also. Yes, it happened before because there were so many classes in Manipur. Even when I was posted there in 2002, 2003, 2004 and those times, there were classes, but ethnic classes were not there that time. They were all militancy. They were PLA, UNLF, PRIPAC and KNLF, KYKL, KYKLO, ZRA, ZNO. All these parties were, all these militant groups were there. But this ethnic classes, this went to that much in March 2023. It was never heard, and it is for the first time it has happened. And of course, the president rule has, it was promulgated on 13th February, and the resolution, statutory resolution was passed unopposed in the parliament yesterday night. In fact, the discussion done today for more time, because there were hardly seven honorable members who could speak, because this is such a situation. In fact, the whole country should be involved, and or it should have been discussed for a day or two. But by the way, Parliament was busy with the walkabout discussion, and they have taken hardly 45 minutes for the discussion. Amit has stated. I agree with that to some extent, definitely, but let us see whether the dialogue during president rule can, the communication between these two groups
even the imposition of the president rule is contentious. Let me play out this bite and then I'll go to Khoreja Mathuba. You know, Congress charged BJP of indecisiveness. Tharoor said that it took 21 months for Bharatiya Janata Party to impose president rule in the state. Let me play out the bite of Shashi Tharoor.
We've all witnessed the horrors of Manipur, a slow burning horror once the unrest began in May of 2023, which is continuing now 21 months before the president's rule was actually declared. During this time, we have seen at least 250 people having died, perhaps over 300. We've had more than 5,600 weapons and 6.5 lakh rounds of ammunition seized, looted from police armories, more than 70,000 people displaced, a lakh affected, and thousands still forced to live in relief camps. Sir, the Home Minister is present here, and this is happening, sir, at a time when clearly those responsible for maintaining law and order have not done their job. The issue of national security has been before this House, sir. And the fact that when we found all these tragedies happening, no decisive action was taken for almost 2 years. My party called repeatedly for an earlier imposition of President's rule. That did not happen. And I'm very sorry to see that it was only when the Chief Minister resigned on the 9th of February, the State Assembly had to reconvene by the 12th, but even though Article 174(1) of the Constitution requires it, it was not possible to convene the State Assembly. The Congress Party in Manipur had prepared a no-confidence resolution. Your own ally, the NPP, had withdrawn support, and in those circumstances, only then, with the Assembly unable to meet because you could not survive such a motion, that President's rule was declared. This, sir, is a very painful development, and to cite the failure of constitutional machinery in the state over the Assembly's inability to meet, when the real failure has been one of national security, has been one of law and order maintenance, has been one of basic decency for the people suffering the torment of violence in that state for almost 2 years. This, sir, remains a blot on the conscience of the nation. Today now, this is the 11th instance that we will be approving President's rule in Manipur, which is a record, sir. The highest of any Indian state in the last 77 years. No state has had to go under President's rule for 11 times, as Manipur has done.
So now the big question is, why did Bharatiya Janata Party take 21 months to impose president rule? Khuraijam, why did BJP take 21 months? I think this could have happened a month later. This is something which a lot of MPs raised subsequently post Amit Shah made his statement in Lok Sabha today early morning.
Kartikeya, that is why we have been telling right from the beginning that Government of India itself is a party in this crisis. We don't consider India as a mediator. We don't consider Government of India as a responsible government who is trying to mediate and resolve the conflict between the two ethnic groups. We consider Government of India as a party in this crisis because they are involved and engaged in so many aspects. I can bring out a list of incidents where several agencies of the government has been involved in prolonging this crisis. Let's take on to president rule. Everyone is expecting that president rules might do some positive and constructive action. Many people here also feel that. But yes, we have a opinion of not accepting these president rules in the state of Manipur. We always go by the popular government because India is democracy and we believe in democratic values and its system. But after the imposition of president rules in Manipur, the Union Home Minister has declared that on 8th of March there is going to be a free movement initiative for all populations in the state. And they have even tried it. But before even executing the task, when the declaration was made a week before 8th of March, the groups from civil society groups belonging to the Tin Cookie groups like the Kotu and their leaders have openly come out on the media and challenges and defied the appeal made by the Union Home Minister. On the other side, the larger Meitei groups from the valley, several CSOs reciprocated on the call made by the Union Home Minister, and they were even ready to take part in that first trip passing through the national highways. And it has been violently challenged and resisted, killing one people, injuring several 27 security personnel. Yet the Home Minister fails to keep its word that those who are against this appeal will be taken action. Legal course of action will be initiated against those people who defy or oppose this initiative for free movement. And it has never been done. On the other side again, the governor of Manipur, as per the Home Minister's indication, he also made an initiative for armed surrender. And that has been complied from the armed village volunteers from the valley, probably the Meitei groups, and they have started surrendering arms which were in their possession. But that initiative has also been openly challenged by the so-called village volunteers forces or something, and saying that until and unless the demand for separate administration has been discussed and met, they are not going to surrender the arms. Yet the government again fails to take action against those people who are openly defying and challenging the appeal made by the government. So the president rule has just made, is not making any sense at all. So this is where the president rule has failed in Manipur. And now it's been almost 22 months and there is no sign of, any, possible constructive initiatives being taken up. We have been appealing, rein in the power of a legitimate government. Whoever is against the idea of peace and restoration of normalcy, take action. Do operation, do military crackdown, whosoever, it may be Meitei, it may be, Kuki. Take action. That is what we have been saying. But the government of India is not doing enough. They remain complacent, they remain evading, and those rioters are being invited by the district administration for a discussion again on the next day after that mobs took place. So the government of India is actually trying to legitimize such kind of violent riot movements, which is completely illogical. So if they keep on listening to those groups who are the enemy of peace, then how on earth the government of India is going to resolve this crisis? On the other hand, when the Union Home Minister himself fails to diagnose the actual cause of this crisis, I don't think they have a medicine for that.
Okay.
If you don't diagnose the issue, you don't have the medicine to cure it.
Okay.
So the government of India is not going to resolve. We become, becoming hopeless day by day.
No, you don't have to be hopeless. I think I think the most important thing in intractable issues is hope. Professor Prasenjit Biswas, Athuba has a point. Home Minister had said that the free movement must take place. It was very violently opposed. We covered those 48 to 72 hours. It just fell apart. The free movement has not taken place. That point is very relevant.
No, the free movement idea has to be contextualized properly. Free movement towards the hills, but no free movement towards the valley. So no one-sided move that isolates a particular community and that creates a sense of suspicion and fear is going to be successful. So this free movement idea itself was a disaster. It was an ill-planned idea. Now, if this kind of an idea has to be executed, good number of peacemakers from both the communities, Meiteis and Kuki-Jo, have to be taken into confidence. Without building that kind of a confidence, a measure which is declared from the pulpit and operated on the ground by the people who are carrying arms, ammunition, and who are security forces, is not going to resolve any issue in Manipur. Okay. Therefore, the approach should not be security-centric. It should be people-centric.
Okay, I think I'll take your point to Athuba, because you said one thing, free movement should not be from valley to the hills. It should also be from hills to the valley.
From where did Mr. Prasenjit collect this information that free movement from hills to valley has been opposed, has been challenged? On that very same day, all the essential commodities from Imphal has been taken to Churachandpur without any disturbances. And recently, 4 days ago, the chairman of Manipur Police Housing Corporation, he is a Jomi, Mr. C. Dongel, has been given a farewell in Imphal. Please try and collect some facts. Let's not go, one-sided narratives, please. If we want to, help restoring this violence, let's be rational. Let's be rational.
Okay. You made a point. Professor Biswas, quickly, and then I have to go to Mr. Mishra on this. And anyone who wants to speak, please raise your hand, Please raise your hand. If you want to speak on a topic, please raise your hand. I need to know who wants to come in. Yes, Mr. Mishra.
That it was definitely announced that on 8th of March, free movement will take place. And with, as Sasi Tharoorji has spoken in the parliament, we have number of companies and number of battalions of armed forces available in the state, much more than any state in India they have. Yet we could not make it. As the other speaker was telling, it is not with only arms and ammunition and security forces you have to cover the area. You have to have diplomacy and discussion between both the ethnic groups so that they come to a single point that, okay, the free movement, why it is required, why it should be done, because it is required for Manipuris. It's not for Nagas or Bangals or Meiteis or Kukis or Chos. No, it's for all Manipuris. Okay. So this, in fact, that point government could not do it. Even I'm telling you, even after President rule was promulgated, that is on 13th February, till now, no progress has been made for a dialogue between two ethnic communities. It's still pending to be done. That is the, and so far, Jeribam route is not yet clear. I don't understand why it cannot be clear.
Okay, quickly. I need to take a break, but quickly, yes, the Jeribam issue will come. Nandakumar Sharma.
Yeah, Kartikeya, I disagree with Professor Prasenjit. Because under Article 19B of Indian Constitution, it is our democratic right to move freely all over India. And now, why we should take consensus for other people? It should be the duty of the lawmakers and the apparatus of the government agencies to guard all these national highways, and there are abundant laws are available. Why people are not executing or exercising these laws? It is our birthright. It's a democratic right, and we must get it. And the government should ensure it. Kartikeya.
Okay. It's time for a short break. I'll be back, and then I'll pay out the bite of Kanimoi and the MP from Trinamool Congress on the issue of internally displaced people in Manipur, but after a short break.
What does it take to be the greatest in the world? There is one thing which truly sets you apart. Your inner strength.
Sudiri TMT Reebok, true inner strength.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every scene, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
Now let me play out quickly the bite of DMK MP Kanimoi and subsequently the bite of Sayoni Ghosh on this issue.
So many times in this house, but today is the day you've chosen at after 2 o'clock in the middle of the night to discuss Manipur. It just shows how much regard you have for the people suffering there and how you care. You don't care. Is this the time to give us an opportunity to be discussing Manipur? Yes. So this shows how much this government does not care, disregards.
It's an insult.
You don't even want to give us time to discuss it properly tomorrow, sir. It is really sad.
Hiding from the people.
Sir, in Manipur, more lives have been lost and 67,000 people have been displaced. 5,000 homes have been destroyed. Churches and temples have been vandalized. So when we went to the camps and visited people there, there was I like to talk about a mother who was waiting every day. When people were there entering the gate, she ran out every day to see if it is her son who is coming back to the camp. Finally, she was giving up. And she said, I hope they at least tell me whether he is alive or dead, so that I can just give up. Because every day I'm waiting desperately for the news whether he is alive or not. Sir, this is not just the case of one woman, one mother. There are thousands of mothers waiting with pain, not knowing whether their children who've been displaced, who they don't know where they are alive or not. This is happening to so many families, but nothing has been done to ensure that peace returns to Manipur.
मणिपुर पर प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल तो लागू किया गया, लेकिन बस यही बोलना था कि 22 महीने लग गए और कई लोगों की जानें चली गई। सर, मैंने आगे भी ये चर्चा की थी कि if president's rule was the only solution, why was it not imposed months ago when people were dying? जब हजारों की तादाद में लोग बेघर हो रहे थे, चारों तरफ आग जल रही थी, जब महिलाओं को विवस्त्र करके रास्ते पर घसीटा जा रहा था, जब सिर्फ भारत नहीं बल्कि पूरे विश्व मणिपुर की चर्चा और निंदा दोनों कर रही थी, तब आप कहां थे? Sir, this delay in imposing president's rule proves that the BJP leadership neither had the will nor the competence to handle the Manipur crisis, and the administration watched quietly as ethnic tensions spiraled out of control.
मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल एक सशक्त लोकतंत्र में कोई अच्छी चीज़ नहीं है। और एक तरफ जब हम वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन करने जा रहे हैं तो एक बड़ा मुद्दा हमेशा चर्चा में आता है कि एक तरफ प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल एक कारण के लिए हो रहा है और दूसरी तरफ ये सरकार वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन लाना चाहती है। इट्स अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स डेमोक्रेसी एंड आई अर्ज, because what surprised me in Manipur actually, when we saw Manipur burning, we didn't have a debate here. But another point, we expected more from the Honorable Home Minister, who's a very assertive Home Minister who has delivered superior results in Kashmir. But we are not very satisfied with what happened in Manipur. But I hope you do a strong intervention, bring in peace, and have a fair election there. This is not something we like, a president's rule, but eventually we must all work together, put our minds together, and bring peace and a fair and a happy livelihoods, restore peace amongst all the communities in a fine democracy.
Khuraijam, in all the discussion we have, the people who have been internally displaced don't get time for any sort of a discussion. It's like they are silent in the narrative. There are more than 65,000 internally displaced people. Do you think that they will ever be able to go back to their homes?
Of course, they must go back to their respective homes. Why would we allow every citizen of the state to displace from their original homes? Why would we do that? There are people who don't want people to return to their respective homes, we know. And those are the elements who are driving this conflict. And those are the elements that needs to be find out, and they have to be controlled and contained. That is where the reign of the legitimate government's power and forces must be asserted. That is what we have been missing for the past 22 months. That is why we have been calling that the government of India itself is a party in this crisis, because they seems to be taking part in this crisis rather than asserting their forces and resolving the crisis. So
Mr.
that
Mishra?
has to be
absolutely.
made.
Mr. Mishra, do you think that more assertiveness is required? Do you think that imposition of president rule, obviously as stated by most of you, is not a panacea, It's not like an automatic antidote, you impose president rule and everything becomes okay?
I can well tell you that what the speaker was telling just now, it is absolutely correct. To some I agree with that. I just heard Mrs. Kanimunji also speaking and Suleji also. They are correct. In fact, why a situation like Manipur, which is out of control which was out of control of the state government, can be heard in Parliament, can be discussed in Parliament 45 minutes. It's really pathetic. Being a security officer, I am telling you that today it is pathetic. They should have given time, at least the request was there for at least 1 day discussion. And I am telling you, President rule it was there promulgated on 30th of April. Till now, nothing has been done to ensure that this displaced people must go back to their residence. That situation has not come in that state. I repeat, I have just visited. That situation has not come in the state at all. And the road, I told you earlier also, we'll speak about Jiribam. They have not yet opened Jiribam axis at all. There is a failure. They have to be very strict, and with that, you see, it's not only with guns and ammunition you have to rule. Sorry, you have to go for dialogue between both the communities. Until and unless you don't do it, you will fail. You see, we had 11th time of president's rule in Manipur. This type of situation continued. There was a failure of imposing president rule
in his speech, Home Minister says that the violence has not taken place in last 4 months.
Sorry, I don't agree. I don't agree. Violence has taken place in last 4 months.
Let me complete my question. Is absence of violence peace, Dr. Tombing? Is absence of violence peace? Is absence of violence normalcy?
Yeah, that is correct.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
Yes, it's to you.
Okay. I see Manipur, people of Manipur are highly fractured. We need healing. We need
Yes.
healing. And the healing will start once we stop our murderous, bitter resentment being played out. And in fact, unless we heal ourselves, no one can come and heal us. This is one part of it. Yesterday's development, of course, it happened at 2 a.m. Of course, it might have been only for 45 minutes, but then maybe it is the right step in the right direction because till yesterday, the opposition and then the government was divided. Now, at least the government, the Home Minister, has invited the opposition to join hands in bringing about peace in Manipur. And Shashi Tharoor, in fact, gracefully, in fact, in some kind of giving consent to that approach, gave certain speech. This is one part of it. And Home Minister, in fact, in his speech mentioned the ethnic clashes that Manipur has faced over decades. From
my question is very simple. My question was very simple. Atsuba, is absence of violence peace? Is absence of violence normalcy? Is absence of violence business as usual?
No. See, Kartikeya, let me inform you one very factual thing. After the imposition of president rules in the state of Manipur, there was some visible aggressive actions from the central forces, like removing of barricades and bunkers from along the national highways. But peoples are not being allowed to move freely. So what is the significance of that removal of barricades and bunkers? So that is what the actual thing is. They just 15 days back, one of the boys whose father is a Bengali and whose mother happens to be a Meitei, he just went out with his Alto car, Maruti Alto car, red color, and entered some places where, cookies supposedly settled area, and he disappeared suddenly. There were CCTV camera footage following his movement, passing through the hill areas of Jauzantek areas. Then he disappeared. Until today, his whereabouts is nothing. No single trace of him. And after 12 or 13 days of missing this boy, the government has announced 10 lakh reward for those who can give informations. He was alone with a car. Car is missing.
Okay.
The boy is missing. So does that indicate that we have peace? The hostile elements are everywhere. So those hostile elements needs to be controlled and contained. That is what is making until and unless those hostile elements are being led around to move freely in the hill areas and in several other parts of this, question of peace does not arise. So Home Minister is trying to simply give an answer for the sake of giving a statement in the parliament. He is actually not keen to. He seems to be not actually keen to address the issues, acknowledge the issues, the problems that we are facing on ground. That is what is being missing. So we want the government of India to be sincere in their approach.
This actually, Athuba, this brings me to an issue. Home Ministry had also announced a peace committee. It came proper. Mr. Sharma, why didn't that initiative succeed? Initially when the announcement was made, there were, it was said that the peace committee, there were a lot of people in it, but nothing came. It just didn't move forward. Why isn't there a body where it can go and talk to various stakeholders? Why isn't that happening?
Kartikeya, the peace committee members, they are also threatened because they also have to live in their respective community. So when you are threatened, if you take part in those activities, that's why they are afraid. Though in their heart they would like to take part in the peace meeting and all that. So there is a threatening from all the armed groups. That is one reason. And secondly, this peace process, it will take time, as all the panelists have said. So it is a time-taking process. However, maintaining the law and order is in the hand of administration. And with the number of security forces available, as mentioned and discussed many times in your channel, it is not very difficult. And Mr. Sir has said repeatedly, he has done the road opening team and allowed the access of the highways by all the communities. So it shows a lack of interest, as Athova has mentioned. It shows a lack of interest by the central government, especially the Home Ministry and his staff, to take stock of the actual ground realities. That is the reason situations are not improving. When you have a bunch of criminals or a bunch of lawbreakers, why the law, say, protecting bodies and apparatus, they are not acting, and despite why we should console the criminals or the law, those people who are not obeying the law. So it is absolutely this thing, say, the lack of interest from the government of India towards the Manipuri people.
Professor Prasanjit Biswas, I've asked this question to you multiple times. I ask this again, when people can come to terms in a place like Rwanda, I think we can, there can be a process in our state. Rwanda was far more brutal.
Yes, you see, the process has been stalled in a certain ways. Though Mr. Biren Singh as CM had to go, yet the state-sponsored or politically sponsored armed groups have not really gone back. They are very much in action. And this you can see in a kind of a movement by which one party is blamed by the other party. There is a blame game that keeps happening. And through that blame game, a certain design manifests, a kind of political maneuvering manifests. The Kuki Joe community has lost a lot of lives even after March 8. Women had to suffer brutal lathi charge. All that had happened. Now, this is a larger political issue, and the political issue needs to be resolved politically. The demand for separate administration needed to be discussed threadbare. Without discussing anything, all political have been shoved back. And this is one reason why peace process is not finding any ground there.
My understanding, Professor Biswas, is that there's a lack of a towering. I'm really sorry, Atuba. I've really run short of time. 8 o'clock is another show. I really feel it's an absence of a towering figure in Manipur in context of the peace process. That absence of a towering figure is required. For example, Arjun Singh was sent to Punjab by Rajiv Gandhi, then Prime Minister. And in context of the discussion, I feel that the Manipur discussion should have happened earlier. It should not have taken place at the dead of the night. And I think a towering figure should be deployed in Manipur to initiate peace talk once again with all the stakeholders. So that's all on Point. Thank you for watching. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. Good night.
What does it take to be the greatest in the world? There is one thing which truly sets you apart. Your inner strength.
Sundari TMT Reebok, true inner strength.
It's not the fiefdom of politicians. They owe it to the people. Matter is now more about faith of the millions of devotees than just political slugfest. Does that mean that I can't get a job in Chennai, although I may be best suited for that particular job? They have more civic sense, they have more of civility than all these men. My name is Sudha Sadanand. Welcome to the South Indian.
In the age of OTT platforms, to watch or not to watch? That's the question. Because you are what you watch. It's our review, but your choice to skip it or stream it. Hello and welcome. I'm Krishna Kumar. This is Skip It, Stream It. Every brand tells a story. They are the storytellers, the Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas.